Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're very happy to invite you to the launch of etauto.com. May I invite our guests on the stage, the Honorable Minister, Mr. Praful Patel, Mr. Ramesh Suri of ACMA, Mr. Rakesh Batra of Ernst & Young, or generating content which would be relevant. We actually serve as the link between the industry and the audience. And there has been a lot that has been happening in the auto sector. One of the worst years for the auto sector. However, many green shoots, many silver linings in the sector. And we thought it is time that instead of highlighting one extreme position or the other, if we can actually talk about the scope of this industry in the Indian economy and highlight problems, find best practices and put them together so that it is a one-stop shop for all readers and the industry. May I invite Amit Gupta to come and give a few details.
Thank you, Jayashri. It gives me great pleasure to see you all to join us in the launch of etauto.com, the latest initiative from Economic Times. Some people told us, it might not be the best time to launch a new initiative when the industry is going through the troubled times. But we realized that it might be the best time actually to launch this initiative when we need to actually connect more, we need to learn more, we need to share the best practices with each other, and that is exactly this platform is for. So apart from Economic Times editorial team, which anyways would be writing for it, we have put up a separate team because we realize that we would need to go deeper into each industry segment as we are trying, as the readers of Economic Times are demanding more insights into their own industry. So for example, if I'm an automobile guy, I might be interested in what's happening in Kaveri Basin and the gas production, etc., and so on and so forth. But I would be mainly concerned with even the smallest news which belongs to my own industry. And that from that perspective, we want to go deeper into the automobile sector. We have been launching few verticals before this as well. And this is our fourth initiative after telecom, retail, CIO, and this is the fourth initiative that we have put up. What we are trying to do is go deeper. So we would have exclusive news from different subsegments within automobile industry, be it components, be it tires, be it OEMs, so on and so forth. And as we all know, digital is the future as we see it going forward. So for example, last year itself, you must be knowing already, we had around 200 million odd people who are accessing internet, be in mobile or on the website. And there has been a growth of around 40 odd % year on year, as we have seen so far. And even for economictimes.com, which has been the online property of Economic Times, we have seen around 10 odd million people who have accessed this site every month. And it has grown 30% year on year. So we are seeing tremendous potential in the digital space with the use of smartphones. As we already know, it might be the first time that people are accessing internet over the mobile. So it becomes a great opportunity for people to directly access internet, be it the people who are on shop floor, be it the people who are actually directly working in the factory itself, to see if they can have the access to information. Right now we have only in the English as the medium for it to be available. We will see if we can actually do it in the different languages possible going forward. So with that initiative, what we are trying to do with Economic Times Auto is that so we would have a mobile site. So the website, if you go and see, it is mobile optimized. So anyone can see all the information in the mobile itself. And one other thing that we are trying to do, which is a daily newsletter. So what we do is we compile the news from different subsegments and not just from Economic Times. We even go to even competing media and say if they have covered any news which is related to auto industry and which we have not covered, we still try to make it part of the newsletter, so that the newsletter becomes a single point where people have access to all the information pertaining to auto industry. So our editors, Nabil, you already know, he would edit and curate the important news to give it to you in the mobile-friendly format. So that is the way we are seeing this business growing. We are seeing if we can reach out to the industry in a deeper way. And It becomes also important that as a media house, we would not have all the information. We would know much lesser than what the industry knows collectively. So what I would like to do is maybe invite each one of you to start contributing to this platform so that there is a knowledge sharing happening. People know the best practices from your own experiences, and the platform can become a more richer platform for people to actually access the information. I think I would have right now only this to say to you. Thank you for coming here. Can I invite Minister to launch the site and maybe speak a few words, sir?
Thank you, Amit, Mr. Suri, Mr. Batra, Mr. Sanghi, and the editor of etauto.com, Nabil, and all other distinguished guests here. I think information is all the power in the world nowadays, and especially in a country like India now with 800 million mobile phone users, and the country which has been wired all across the length and breadth, as well as the fact that we have a young aspiring population whose 65% population 35 and below. I think knowledge on your fingertips is something which is what everybody looks out for and aspires for. And I think it is keeping with the times that all publications, media houses, along with their core product, offer easy to use, I would say, platforms for people to access and gather more knowledge. And as Amit rightly pointed out, that people would like domain-specific information. While we would like to have general information about all what is happening in the world or in the country or in related sectors like business, sports, and so on, but we also would like to have specific information regarding a particular sector in which a person is very involved or interested in. And with so much of media content available 24/7, whether it is through the net or through the television or of course through the newspapers, I think it is difficult for anybody to collate all the information under one roof and try to get the maximum content available to anybody who wishes to follow a particular sector. And in India, the auto sector has its own significance, because as we all know that it is a very vibrant sector, though it's a little hit a roadblock for the current times, but nonetheless, in a country like India, it cannot be constant. It has to be moving, and it will move on into the next orbit. After the auto mission was launched in India 2006 to 2016, we have seen so much of growth in this sector. And now we will be looking at 2017 to 2026. We are already preparing for that, to see that we are ready for the next round of growth in this sector. And we have to finalize a lot of things. We also have the electric vehicle mobility mission, which has been launched, which will also see a new generation of automobiles hitting the roads. We also have so many new technologies which are coming in, the hybrid, the solar powered, and I mean, there's so many new possibilities in this sector, which will ultimately, I would say, redefine this sector for a long, long time. And with as I said, a population which has now got 800 million mobile users, it's not too far that the next acquisition a person can have after the mobile would be at least a two-wheeler, and then two-wheeler graduates to four-wheeler, and so on. So, of course, four-wheeler can't graduate to six-wheeler, but nonetheless, you have such a large number of people who have the need to acquire these, I would say, vehicles, are new age products for our times. And it's important that the sector also grows, I would say, in an organized manner, and that is why we have this auto mission for the country. And I think both from an industry perspective, from a consumer perspective, or from anybody who's interested to follow a certain sector, I think if you get such a large amount of information under a very classified portal, I think it would be very interesting for people who follow the sector. And even from B2B point of view, or from a average consumer's point of view, even for government, I think while we think that we know everything, we also need to know something which is not automatically brought to our notice. In fact, even government and the people in government need to follow, trends a little bit more, I would say, accurately and more instantly. And I think for any government to be responsive and to be thinking ahead, I think for us also it is important to have a vast domain of knowledge available to us. So in every single way, I think instead of going through reams and reams of pages of information, if one wanted to go for a specific industry or a sectoral approach, I think this is a fantastic initiative. I was just talking to these gentlemen when I was walking in that this is also at the expense of economic times. So it's anyway, but I'm sure with so much of, as I said, new age products, every medium also is redefining itself. So are the newspapers, so are the media content which is available. And I think we already have the digital version of all the newspapers in our country. And that's how I at least access it when I am not in India, or where I am not accessing such national newspapers. So it is a new age product which is required. It's keeping with the times. Also, I would say, brings in more efficiency, brings in more, I would say, instant, I would say, response to situations. And it will be good for a longer term perspective. And as I said, the auto industry is important to India, not only from a consumer's point of view, but even from a national viewpoint. It contributes almost 6% to the country's GDP, 25% of India's manufacturing GDP. It also contributes hugely to taxes, direct and indirect, of the country. So it is a big player in every single way in terms of economic activity, in terms of job creation. We have almost 2 million people, 20 million people, I think, in the entire chain of the auto industry, right from manufacturing to servicing to selling these products. So it's a huge number of people which it employs, and it's important because in a young, aspirational India, we need to create more jobs, and we need to create more high-end jobs, which the automobile industry provides in good measure. And we, from that perspective, also need to see the growth of this industry, and all these initiatives will contribute for the larger good of the industry. So etauto.com is formally launched today, and I wish it all the best. And keeping in tradition with the high quality of the newspaper and the high knowledge content which it carries, I'm sure the etauto.com will continue to keep the tradition of the Economic Times and the Times of India group in the same spirit, and I'm sure it will be one of the leading portals in the auto industry, and not only in India. I think the whole world is following the Indian automobile industry, since it is now the 7th largest automobile industry in the world. And I dare say in the next 10 years, I'm sure it will rank amongst the top 3 or 4. So it will have its own impact. And as I said, the whole world is integrated with the auto industry, because we have every single manufacturer from across the world. I think having set up shop in India, and India is a big market. We are also exporting a lot of automobiles outside of India, and we wish to and we aspire to do more so in the future. So there are a lot of, I think, implications, and a lot of people in the world also. It's not just about India. The whole world is following India's auto industry, and it is important that everybody has full knowledge, and I'm sure etauto.com will provide that ideal platform for the facilitation and the growth of the auto industry. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, sir, for that very interesting address. Just wanted to assure you that in the Times Group, when we launch a new product, it is always integrating everything that we've done so far. While the Economic Times banner will fly high, the etauto.com will actually facilitate that it gets read more and more. I come from another branch of the Times. We are tracking the jobs in the auto industry. I represent Times Jobs. I head content and research. And one of the things that we have found is that consistently, the auto industry has been among the top 10 job producers in the country ever since we've started tracking it. Obviously, it's a very significant industry, and each arm of the Times is trying to push the venture forward. May I now invite Mr. Ramesh Suri, Vice President ACMA, and Chairman Subros to come and address us, please.
Good evening to all of you. Shri Praful Patel ji, Honorable Minister, Ministry of Public Enterprise and Heavy Industry, distinguished guests, friends from the automotive industry, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. The automotive industry is shaping in India in a very big way, going back to 1982. As I remember, when Maruti started its functioning with Suzuki collaboration, there were